Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All in a Day's Work exclusive podcast. We are back here in the studio. My name is Trip, and that's Lucas over there at the producer's table. I welcome you guys to a great day. This is Friday. This is going to be a fantastic podcast. And again, we welcome all of you guys to take on to the best of the best with me and my man Lucas right here on All in a Day's Work. But before we get started, really?
Was I supposed to say something?
You said you start the intro and I'll jump in. Wow. Let's try that again. But before we get started, you idiot.
What am I supposed to
Oh
say?
my goodness. What do you mean? You forgot what you're supposed to say?
Man, it's been like
Don't forget to click, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, remember?
Oh yeah. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click all the stuff that's supposed
Oh
to be
my
clicked.
goodness. And if you were a Spotify user and just using the app to listen, please be sure that you guys share this podcast and all this stuff to your friends and let them know what All in a Day's Work is about. So let's get this show started. Lucas, you goofball. My man Lucas over there just trying to, I don't even know what he's doing. He's just doing what he does best.
I'm
Nothing.
sorry, I've been a little distracted lately.
You've been distracted.
Yeah.
What have you been so distracted for, huh? You've been occupied.
No, I mean everybody's occupied.
That's true. I mean, we tend to occupy our time. Well, no. Forget that. You said you've been busy the past couple of weeks. What you been busy doing? That's what I want to know.
Oh, you know, the usual work, all that good stuff.
Work, huh? How's work been? That's what I want to know. Tell me about work. How has work been? Because you've seemed extra frustrated lately, which tells me or leads me to ask you the question. Are you working because you have to? Or are you working the job because you want to be working that job?
First of all, nobody wants to work a job.
Can't hear you, Lucas. Speaking to your mic like a man.
I said, first of all, nobody wants to work a job.
That's not true.
That is true.
I like working.
Nobody wants to work. If you could ask anybody out here, if it was a perfect world and we didn't need to produce food and stuff like that, nobody would want to work. Everybody would just want to sit around and be lazy.
Pretty much like right now.
Yeah.
Sit around and be lazy.
Sit around and be lazy.
I mean, if you think about it, we live in a country where poor people are some of the fattest people. So you can look at that as a problem, or you can also look at that as it's kind of a beautiful thing, considering 100 years ago, if you were fat, that meant you were rich and you had food. You had wealth. And if you didn't, you was pretty much skin and bones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So over time, now obviously, trying to eat healthy today is super expensive. And the food that lasts longer is the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
And most people can't actually afford the healthier foods to eat consistently because they don't last as long. And when you're thinking you're working, 6-7 days a week, living paycheck to paycheck, you're going to get the cheapest food you can get to sustain yourself and keep working. And that's the lifestyle that so many people get stuck in right now. And it's so sad. It's extremely sad. So in a perfect world, you think that nobody would work if they didn't have to worry about food, bills, nothing like that. And people would just sit around and be lazy. You don't think people would try to innovate and just be better if they had the opportunity, didn't have to worry and take care of any, or even think about those necessities? You don't think that they would try to do better by people, by themselves, or try to innovate? No? Why not?
Because people are lazy.
You're generalizing right now.
I am. Obviously, I can't speak for all 300,000 or 300 million people on this, at least in this country alone. So obviously, I'm making generalizations.
That's it? Just people are lazy.
Yeah.
That's just it.
If everything was provided for everybody from birth, they never had to worry about anything. People would just sit around and chill, not do anything.
Or would be apt to try to learn new things and discover new things and explore their passions because they would never have to worry about other things.
Maybe a handful of people.
I don't know, man. I kind of think people have it in them to be a lot more innovative and creative if they had the opportunity. They just aren't given the opportunity. What I'm trying to say is that I don't think that if people were given the opportunity from birth to not have to worry about bills, the basic needs and necessities of life, food, shelter, health, and all they had was the opportunity to innovate and be creative, I think people would be doing a lot more and be willing to go to school and study things as opposed to stressing every single day to just try to survive. I don't think people would be just inherently lazy. No, because people think about it. Think about it. Because there's a lot of broke people right now that are living their best lives. There's a lot of rich people that are miserable, not living any good life. The ones that are living the best lives don't seem lazy to me. They seem like they're out doing stuff. The ones that are sitting around not doing shit, they're not happy. They're just sitting around picking at shit, being miserable. Because they're the lazy ones. But the people that are living their dreams, giving their passions, aren't worried about the basic necessities of life. But I think the key to actual happiness is not being rich and wealthy. The key to people's happiness is not having to worry about survival. Think about this. We're all going to die, right? That's a fact. We're a living organism. We're all going to die. We have no idea when it's going to come, right? Can you agree with that?
Yes.
So, we all have this one thing in common. That's death. So instead of us just trying to survive each day, paying people that we don't even know for basic things like electricity, water, heat, things like that, so we can survive. People are paying for food so we can survive. People are paying for medicine so we can survive, right? So imagine a world where people didn't have to pay for any of these things. Do you still think that people would be lazy?
Yes.
Why?
Because there'd be no need to improve anything. If you already have any place that everything is already taken care of, you don't have to pay people for electricity. Electricity doesn't have to get generated. Food doesn't have to get prepared, whatever, right? That's what I'm saying. If you have had all your needs meet, then there's nothing to improve on.
So if what you're saying is, so if nobody had to pay for electricity, for instance, right? But the electricity plant or whatever didn't have any employees and it was going to break, people wouldn't be willing to fix it because they're lazy? You know what I mean? Because it tells me like
you're misconstruing everything that I've said.
No. I was just trying. The way I'm looking at it is like because their basic need for survival would come back into play, right? Like if they needed to survive because the heat was out, people wouldn't be as lazy. They'd come together and fix it because their need to survive would come together. But I think that if they didn't have to worry about survival, they wouldn't be lazy. But I think I don't know. I guess it's hard. I can't speak for all people. I don't think people are that lazy. I think people just are sick and tired of working just to survive, to where when they have a free moment, they are lazy. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. What I said was, in a perfect world situation where everything is provided from now until the end of time, that people would be lazy. That's what I said.
Yeah. But I guess I'm just trying to nitpick and debate.
No, I think
that people, if they were given the opportunity to not have to worry about that stuff, they would be more tuned to trying to be creative and innovative. Because they wouldn't have to stress about it. That's what I was thinking.
What I am saying is, obviously, if there's a need, people should be working and not be lazy and work towards fixing that need.
Right.
We agree on that.
Right. Well, yeah.
What I am saying is, if everybody's needs would always be met 100% of the time from now until forever, people would be lazy. That's what I said.
Okay, so like everybody's needs.
Yes.
I'm just talking about the basic needs of like survival. I'm just taking into account, like, if people didn't have to work to pay the basic bills, that's what I'm talking about as far as needs. Not like, I guess I should break down my definition a little further. You know what I mean? So just think of, like, the main reason people go to work, right, is to pay their bills and survive. You know, shelter, electricity, blah, 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 right? Which I get it. Somebody built it, provided the materials, somebody should have to pay for the stuff, right? I get that, right? But I'm talking about, so I guess if right now we live in a world where we have the majority of people that are in houses and living in homes and stuff like that, if I don't even know, like, how far back you would have to go, but, like, if people didn't have to pay for housing, if people didn't have to pay for electricity, water, and food, like their basic needs, and they just went to work and were able to innovate and develop new things for health or new things for technology or whatever, and that's all they did, but they just didn't have to worry about their base. They had a home, they had heat, they had food, they just went to the store and got what they needed to eat for their meal, and that was it. Like, you didn't have to worry about it. You just got, everybody got what they, kind of like, you know, like the whole socialist bullshit, that type thing. If that was I think their idea behind it is, if that was the world that we lived in, people would be more tuned into being creative because they wouldn't have to worry. So they would be more motivated at their work to be developing new things, because I think we as a people, that's the one problem we have, is we're never satisfied. We're always trying to make the next best thing. We're never satisfied. We always want the new phone, the new technology, the new best thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I understand. What you're saying is, people should, if people were working towards meeting their needs, they wouldn't be lazy.
Yeah.
Agreed. If people have needs, you should be working towards that. What I'm saying is, eliminate needs. If you had no need for anything whatsoever, everything was given to you, you didn't have to work for everything.
Gotcha.
Then what else would you do? You would sit around and be lazy.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah,
That's
because you wouldn't have needs.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying. I get what the way I'm looking at it is, you're always going to have the need to survive. You're saying if you didn't have to worry about needs at all.
Yeah, if you didn't have to worry about
I got what you're saying. Okay, you went way bigger than where that's the weed talking. Where you I get what you're saying. Okay. So pretty much, if we were immortal.
No, not immortal. All right.
Well, if we were immortal, we wouldn't have needs, right?
But I'm just saying, if all that stuff was already, you didn't have to worry about it. Somebody gave it to you, whatever. You didn't have to pay for it, nothing. You didn't have to worry about food. You didn't have to worry about sleep, housing, clothes, none of that. You could have whatever you wanted to at any time of the day.
Mm-hmm.
If all of that happened, then people would be lazy.
People in general.
Because
everybody would have that.
Yeah.
So do you think that the reason people are as innovative and creative and hardworking is because they want to be at that level?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, when you're developing anything, you're working toward whatever, it's all to fix a need. It's all right. Like, you have to build this house so you have a place to live. You have to go get this food so you can eat. Right? If all of that was taken care of, then there'd be nothing for anybody to really be innovative towards.
Okay, but the way, I can see what you're saying. I can really see, like, I mean, I kind of really do agree with that. But the way I'm looking at it is, I think a lot of people misunderstand or misrepresent what making it looks like. So when you talk about shelter, basic needs for shelter, right? How big of a house do you really need to survive? If you really think about it, right? Because at the end of the day, you really just need somewhere to hole up, sleep. It's going to keep you warm from the elements, eat, and then you're out working or whatever, right? Not everybody needs a freaking extra big ass dream home, blah, 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 blah. Need, right? Need. So if you have your basic food, you have a good meal that's going to get you through. Not a bad meal, but you have a good meal. You have a place to live. You have enough to survive, and then you have leftover money. Like, how much do you really need when you're living your dream is my kind of question, right? So if you don't have to worry about those basic needs, any leftover money you have wouldn't, I guess not everybody has that same mindset I do, is to try to be innovative and creative or to try to work towards something else. because you have free time. I think there are some people, maybe not all, but some people that would utilize that time that they wouldn't have to use to survive and be more creative, be more open to being adaptive and bettering themselves. Maybe. But there are a lot of lazy ass people out in this. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. And I think those are some of the most angry people.
So you agree with me that a vast majority of people are lazy?
Vast majority, yes, but not all people.
Well, I obviously, when I said people, I was making a big generalization there.
I know.
At least I would hope that would be discernible.
I would hope so too, but because I know you, there's a lot of people out there that don't. And you know how people are very judgy these days.
Well, I guess I'm being a little judgy right here then, huh?
I mean, you're always judgy.
I'm not.
Yes, you are. Especially when you're talking with me. You're like the most judgmental person I know.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, I'm only the most judgmental person you know is because you know me better than most people.
Well, that's true, but I also know you're judgmental.
Oh.
Because I hear what you say.
Hear all of what I say.
Not all, obviously, because some shit you say to yourself.
Gotta have a good conversation.
I bet you do. I bet you have a whole conversation with yourself.
Oh, I used to when I was in school. I'd be talking myself through things.
Oh my goodness.
Situations and stuff. People thought I was weird.
I mean, if you think about it, the person that's talking to themselves usually isn't the person that is talking to many other people.
I had a lot of friends, but I also...
They were all in your head, though, weren't they?
No.
I bet they was all in your head, weren't they? Well, I have a lot of friends, Mom. Here's Billy. Oh, hell no.
No, I wasn't super popular, but I had friends. But sometimes, you got to hear a good conversation. Talk to yourself. You make a good point.
To yourself. I mean, I get that as an adult now. I didn't do it as a kid. Yeah, I did. Every kid does, pretending and stuff. I mean, how much of like growing up do you really do? I think we have these like developmental stages in our life, but like we hold on to those kid things no matter what. Mm-hmm. We really do. And that's when we're able to be ourselves and just let loose, let out the inner kid. That's when we feel the best, right?
If I remember correctly, I read in an article it was the first 6 years of a kid's life is like the basis of what they're gonna do for the rest of their life.
Like developing their personality.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
First 6 years.
That makes sense. 6 years old. That's really when the attitude and personality starts to come out. I've noticed it with both my kids. 6 years old, even Caleb, when he was about 6, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like that stage. Yeah, that makes sense. 6, 7 years old, like they really first start developing who they are as a kid. And
it like impacts the rest of their life because everything is based off of, comes down to those first 6 years.
That too, because you're also coddled and like the first 6 years of your life, like you're always with your parents and family, you know what I mean? Because after that, you start going to school. 6 years old, it's like, 6 years, 6 years old, first grade. So you start interacting with other kids. Yeah, that makes sense. Because that's like the molding of you as a person. That makes sense. For most states, I mean, especially like in the Western civilization, because that's when most people start schools around 6, 7 years old.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, other countries and stuff, they do school way different than we do. So these motherfuckers go to school like 3 years old. You know what I mean?
I mean,
and they go every day.
And look how well their school stats are compared to ours.
Not just stats, but just as far as education and infrastructure, just innovative. But they also push education as a forefront and health before fat shaming and social anxiety and bullshit like that here in America, where hurt feelings is more important than science and facts.
It is.
Well, I asked, I showed my kids a meme the other day. I said, hey, what's the magic word? And Jasmine said, please. I said, no. I'm offended. And Isabel started cracking up because she was like, you're not wrong, And I was like, that's a damn shame. Mm-hmm. That's a damn shame. I was like, you're 11 years old and you're already saying you're not wrong. Like, that's a shame. That is a damn shame.
I mean, it's true.
And
true.
And now, like, people don't want to have kids nowadays, and that's scary. That's scary. What are we gonna do when we don't have no more kids?
There'll be peace in the world.
No, man, it's gonna be chaos, man. The world has gone to hell lately. What do you think? What do you think is going on, man? Like, honestly, what is your take on what do you think is going on right now with, like, why do you think people? I know why you're gonna say people don't want to go to work because they're lazy. That's what you're gonna say, right?
I mean, but it doesn't help that if you don't go to work and all the government assistance you are eligible to receive for most people, you'll make more than you would if you was actually at work.
True. That's true. That's a damn shame. But what are you supposed to do when inflation's up 7% and wages are up and you know what I mean? You have to match it.
Get somebody that knows what they're doing that's able to fix those things.
But in the meantime, you still got to help people that got bills to pay. You know what I mean? So I asked you, like, so what do you think is actually, like, going on? Like, do you think people are just catching on to, like, the loopholes in the system and how people have been getting fucked for so long and people are sick of it? Is that what you think? What do you think? What do you think is going on with everybody quitting work? The Great Resignation, I think that's what they're calling it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. What do you think is going on, man? Why do you think everyone's quitting their jobs and just pretty much saying fuck it right now? Do you think people are just like, what do you think is going on, man?
I mean, I can tell you what I think is going on.
Well, that's what I asked. That's literally what the fuck I just asked. Hey, man, what do you think is going on? I could tell you what I think. You think? That's literally what I just asked you. So let's try that again. Hey, man, what do you think is going on? Idiot.
Can I talk now?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Right. Are you going to?
Yeah.
Tell us what you think is going on.
So, I can tell you what I think. And that is people are tired of getting screwed, and they're like, well, if I'm eligible to retire, I'm not going to get screwed and work at the same time. I'm just going to go get screwed.
I guess that's one way of looking at it. I'm not going to go to work and get screwed. If I can survive and just get screwed, I might as well just get screwed.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. So exactly what the fuck I'm doing.
Right? It's like, if I'm going to get screwed, but I don't have to work, I'm just going to go get screwed.
I like it. Makes sense.
So
that's the most philosophical thing I've heard all day. Why do you think the Great Resignation is? Well, I'll tell you. People are used to getting screwed. And lately, they've been working and getting screwed. But now they realize you don't have to work and get screwed. You're going to get screwed regardless.
So you might as well just get screwed.
You might as well just get screwed and not have to work. Pretty simple to me. It all makes sense. So, think about it.
That's what I think has happened. Too many people woke up like, I'm tired of getting screwed and having to go to this job that I've been at for the last 20-30 years. So
any job now.
Yeah.
For their 2 months, man, fuck this shit. I'm done.
Mm-hmm. We had a new guy just the other day, and he was looking up like new jobs on Indeed. I was like, how long you been here, bro? A month. Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, especially these big corporate jobs right now, they're sucking right now. They're desperately hiring. Nobody wants to work for that shit. Nobody. And they're throwing money around like, hey, we'll give you this. And it's like, bruh, I don't need that. Like, I think more people are realizing it's like, you know, because this is how I'm looking at it, right? The jobs want you to look at it as like, hey, we'll give you X amount of money. And after a year, we'll do this, like all this future stuff, right? You can do to wean you in. But the way I'm looking at life is like, bitch, I don't know if 10 minutes from now I'm going to survive. Right? So I have enough money right now. My bills are paid. I have some in the bank so I can go get what I need if I want to, if I want to go out and have a good time. But I'm not going out every night. You know what I mean? I'm not going, like, you can't, who does that every night? Just go out and part, like, you know what I mean?
A lot of young people that do that.
Yeah, but I'm not. You don't say I'm not young. I have kids. I got responsibilities. So like, I have enough for what I need. So I stay home the majority of my time. So like, how much do I really need? Is the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So if I have enough to just survive, pay my bills, and left over, how much do I really need? And if I'm not going out and partying every day, I have enough to go travel when I want to and take my kids out and do stuff like that. Like, that to me is living. I'm not trying to. I don't need $100 million to live my life. You know what I mean? I'm a fucking American. Like, I don't need a lot of, like, there's so much life you can enjoy without having to be rich. Now, granted, if you wanted to go do fancy things, you have to save up and do. The way I look at it is, okay, save up and do it. Like, and I think there's value in that. For instance, if you go out every single weekend or every single day and partying it up every day, there's no value. You don't enjoy it as much because it's every day. Right? Now, you go out once every 6 months to something big, go out on a trip or something. You save up for that trip. You look forward to that trip. You value and enjoy that trip that much more. But if you're always taking a trip or always out doing stuff, it's like, oh, it's just the normal. Maybe some people love that type of stuff. I'm sure there are. There's lots of people that do. But I look at it as like, damn, I look forward. I saved up for this trip. I saved up. We earned it. Like, I really want to enjoy this, take in this moment. Right? So, what's that? So if I can take in this moment and not have to worry about, you hear that?
That was like his dogs across the street.
Dying dog or some shit. But if you can take in that moment and not have to worry about, you know, I guess I don't know. What do you think?
I think that sometimes.
What? What?
I lost my train of thought like halfway.
See,
through.
I told you to take that Alpha Brain. Should have took some of the Alpha Brain before you came in here.
Get everything I need.
No, you drinking that old ass pear drink. I don't know, man. That's just the way I look at it. You know what I mean?
So
People want to throw money in front of you for a job that you're gonna work at for the next, however many years. If 10 minutes from now or a week from now you freaking have a heart attack, it's like you spent all that time working towards something you never got. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess that's the joys of life, huh?
No, I think the joys of life is living in the moment. Taking care of what you need, therefore you can enjoy what you want. That's why I said, how much do you really need in order to survive and live the life that you want? Some people want fancy things that cost a lot of money. So therefore, they work so they can afford those fancy things. Not everybody needs those fancy things in order to live a very peaceful and luxurious life. Luxury is a state of mind. It's just recently defined with material things. Being broke and being poor are two different things. Does that make sense to you?
No. I understand what you're trying to say, but
being poor is a mindset. Being broke is materialistic money-wise, the way I look at it. Because you can be extremely wealthy and have a very poor mindset and a poor life. Be miserable. You can be extremely broke, but living your best life and happy. And you often see that a lot more than you see the opposite. I just hit you with that real philosophical shit now, didn't I?
No.
So what you got? I feel the wheels are spinning up there.
It's really slow. I feel like there's rust on the wheel.
There's rust in the wheels? That's because you over here trying to wake yourself up.
I'm
Here,
awake.
this is what you need. You needed this one. This is the upper. You know, this one is what you need.
I'm awake.
You ain't awake, but you ain't. Well, I don't know, man. What do you think, man? I'm gonna hit you with that real shit.
You remember how, like, at least when I was a kid,
How you gonna ask me if I remember when you was a kid?
No, I said remember when we were kids, or at the very least when I was a kid. We was learning how to eat right at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you take a bite of whatever, you look up at mom or dad and start speaking with your mouth full.
Get slapped.
And you get slapped and like, don't talk with your mouth full.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two reasons for that. One, it's disgusting because you're spitting food all over everything. And then number two is because nobody can understand you when you got your mouth full. So what I'm going to say is I didn't understand a word of what you just said because you had something in your mouth.
All I was going to say was speak up and speak your mind about what I just said. Because I hit you with some real philosophical shit a minute ago.
And so my response to that is mindset is everything.
Absolutely.
So obviously, if you have a poor mindset, you can have everything else, all the fancy stuff, everything paid for, the extravagant lifestyle, all that. Got a bad mindset, obviously, you're not going to be happy. The point that I want to make is take money out of it. Would you rather live in a 1-bedroom, no bathroom, no laundry room, sink, kitchen area that's 3 feet by 3 feet in the same room as the bathroom? Or if you could take this nice beach house, or 4 or 5 bedrooms, 4 or 5 baths, right? Super nice placement, wherever you want it to be in heaven. You'd rather take that one than the 1-bedroom, no bath cabin.
Well, what if it was like the military, how the military does with single housing and married housing, where everyone has a place to stay, regardless. Single housing, you have your own room, your own bathroom, sink, whatever, and a shared common kitchen area for the most part. And then you have the smaller family housing and bigger family housing. And it just goes up depending on the size of the family and stuff like that, and or rank, right? But you take rank out of it and you just go bound by families. I don't think, well, I guess in a world where nobody would have to worry about any kind of payment or anything, people just have big ass families and big ass fucking houses, huh?
Yes.
Or do you think that the stress of trying to manage all of those children and all of those things would be too much for people like it is now, and they wouldn't even try to have as many kids because people will still be doing violent shit and stealing shit? People are going to be people. So I think people would be about where they are now and just be used to the fact that 2 kids or 1 kid is more than enough for them. Maybe. I don't know. The only way to find out would be to just do it. You know what I mean?
So let's do it. Let's provide every need for everybody from now to the end of time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How you going to do that?
Okay, so this is what I think.
How do you start that?
We gotta colonize space. That's how we do it, right?
What?
We gotta colonize space. So
How the? What do you mean?
Let me explain the plan. All right. So we're gonna create a new Earth, but in space.
Like Earth is right now in
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. But
You
we're
fucking
gonna
idiot.
create it and then put it in space.
But-
And then
What?
we're gonna cut Earth's population in half. And then half of Earth's population is going to go to this
New
Mecha
Earth?
Earth, right? And then at this Mecha Earth, every need that you're gonna have is gonna be provided. They're gonna have all the food in the world that you could ever have and want, all the space you could ever have and want, and that's what we're gonna do.
Until it's overpopulated.
No, because we're gonna have a strict population limit.
How do you do that when everyone's allowed to have as much as they want of everything?
Well, then we send them to a third Earth that we're making because
So you just keep building Earths and pushing them out in space.
Yeah, and then every time you hit a population limit for that Earth, you send the extra people over to the new Earth.
So essentially, we just keep creating new Earths
Mm-hmm.
and pushing people away.
Yep. And then now instead of one Earth, we're gonna have like 17.
If it was that simple, don't you think we would be doing that instead of worrying about some fucking gas lawnmowers and being able to buy a goddamn electric vehicle?
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna need you to calm down a little bit. Second of all, I think we are doing that. It's just taking a really long time. We're working with the replacement meats. No, we're working with the food system right now. Because if we can't eat, then there's no point in building the space station, the new Mecha Earth, right?
So we're working on space food on Mecha Earth.
Yeah,
right now.
So what we're
Who's
doing,
working on that?
all the big people, the Illuminati,
And you know this how?
Don't worry about it. I got my sources.
So I mean, you are a Mason.
So
tell me about that. Tell me about Mason stuff. That's what I want to know.
I'm not. So
don't lie.
What they're doing right now, they're working with bugs and they're working with like impossible meat. Once they perfect the nutrition system, then they're gonna start working on creating the actual Mecha Earth. Because once they get the food system down, then they got space, available for people in this new Mecha Earth, and then food's gonna be taken care of, and then all we gotta do is worry about how to chemically castrate everybody on Earth so they can't have kids and overpopulate the space station.
You know what you're saying is not. What you're saying is very feasible.
Mm-hmm.
And have you been looking into this Impossible Burger shit?
No.
And shit that's going on, the scandal shit that's going on right now?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's bad.
Yeah.
It is really bad right now. They are actively campaigning with, of course, Bill fucking Gates. They're actively campaigning right now to try to move to like an America where we are completely alternative meat mm-hmm. products. So those soy nasty ass beef products or beef like and chicken like products.
Yeah.
That are really bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
That are like very bad for you. It's getting really bad right now.
I believe it.
And they're actively campaigning so we don't have to have meat. And Bill Gates is like the forefront. Have you looked at him lately? Looks gross, dude. Like frail ass arms and a big old gut, and like looks gross, man. Talking about these eat this alternative, but yet
he's buying up all the farmland.
Mm-hmm. All of it. Imagine that. And then he's talking about by 20 whatever we're gonna be pretty much essentially all who's gonna be, and how do you know? And why do you get to make these decisions? Who the fuck are like, you know what I mean? Why does he get to make all these decisions?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, you know why? It's these fucking elites. The big wigs, the riches.
Yeah, they're gonna have all the food that they want to have, real meat. They're gonna have all the space that they want with all the housing, and they're gonna have all the kids they want for their fun.
Well, you see how this is slowly turning into that, right?
Yeah.
Only the rich are able to get meat and shit like that. They're raising the price to where regular people can't afford it. And then you give us this fucking bullshit ass fucking soy meat product. What the fuck is that? That's bullshit, man. But that's what's slowly happening right now. And people need to wake up to that. It's kind of scary, man. And like, I got kids. You know?
I don't.
I mean, you know I have kids, but
yeah, no, I don't have kids, but I was.
Yeah, it's
so what I'm worried about is what's gonna happen in the next 40 years of my life.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to worry about nothing ever again.
Well, the thing right now is, like in Washington State, by 2030, you're not allowed to buy a gas vehicle. What kind of bullshit is that?
And that's why I'm getting out of Washington State.
I cannot wait, bro. Jay Inslee needs to go, bro. What kind of shit is that? In California, you can't have a gas lawnmower and shit because you're gonna protect the earth. Like, what? A gas lawnmower?
Yeah.
What? Meanwhile, the fucking power plants and all that can pump out as much as they want.
Yep. It's an essential service. Your gas lawnmower is an essential.
No, but if I don't cut my grass, I get a fine.
Yep. So you get fined if
so
you do,
glad I don't live in California. Huh?
So you get fined if you do, and you get fined if you don't.
Yeah, fuck that. Dude, fuck California. I'm so glad I never, ever, ever want to live in California, dude. That is communism right there.
Unless you're
And
rich.
Washington's slowly turning into that bullshit too, man.
Can't wait to move me. You still got like 12 years, so
Don't remind me, dude.
I got like 6 months.
Bitch. You ain't going nowhere.
Hey, watch me.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I'm leaving for sure next year.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Going on vacation for a month.
Oh, yeah? Anyway, never come back. That month gonna turn into forever.
I hope.
Where you going?
I'm going to Greece.
Oh, yeah. I'm going too.
Not without a passport.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll see. World War III is kicking off. I don't know if going to Europe now is the best time.
So I've told everybody this, right? So